This is not just a statement. This is a warning shot to the entire world, and it comes straight from 35,000 feet in the air. Aboard Air Force One, Donald Trump drops a line that rattles Europe. He says that the United States will have Greenland. Not may, not should, will. And then he explains why. Putin is coming, Xi is coming, and if America does not act now, Trump says war becomes unavoidable. You're watching Times XP. My name is Rityatri, so let's slow this down and explain what is really going on here. First, why Greenland? So Greenland is not just an ice or snow. It sits at the top of the world between North America, Europe, and Russia. So basically, whosoever controls Greenland, well, that country, that person controls Arctic shipping routes. That person controls the future energy resources, radar paths. As the ice melts, new sea lanes open. Russia is already militarizing the Arctic. China calls itself a near Arctic power. They want access, they want influence, and Trump says that the US cannot afford to watch from the sidelines. And this is where the story turns explosive. Trump did not talk about diplomacy first. He talks about inevitability. He frames Greenland as a security requirement now, not a negotiation. Well, and Europe. The entire Europe is panicking because Greenland is not for sale. It belongs to Denmark, a NATO ally, a democratic power. European leaders push back immediately. They warn that any attempt to take Greenland by pressure or by force, it would shatter trust. They say it would rip NATO apart from inside. Even the US lawmakers, they are alarmed. They warn that threatening an ally over territory is how alliances collapse. And once NATO fractures, there is no easy repair. So here's the real question. Is Trump just threatening to abandon NATO if it blocks him? Because this is how many are reading his words. Trump's argument is pretty simple. NATO was built for the Cold War. The Arctic is the next battlefield, and he says America must move before Russia and China lock it down. But on the other hand, critics say that this logic is dangerous because NATO's strength is unity. And the moment the US turns on its own allies, Moscow and Beijing, they win without firing a shot. And this is why Greenland has become more than an island right now. It is now a symbol of power, of fear, of how far America is willing to go to stay ahead. The Arctic is no longer frozen politics. It is heating up fast, with military bases, new shipping lanes, and superpowers circling quietly. Well, Trump is forcing the entire world to confront an uncomfortable truth now. The next global conflict may not begin in Ukraine or Taiwan, but in the melting ice of the far north. And if NATO cannot agree on Greenland, the alliance that shaped the modern world, it may be facing its most dangerous tests yet. Because when allies start talking like rivals, history tells us what usually comes next.